everyone. Welcome into this week's my weekly CBS Fix. This week's video is dedicated as a refuah shlema for Nechama Bas Chai Rivka, Shlomo David Mordechai ben Rachel, and Baruch Yosef Aaron ben Yehudis. Should all get better quickly. This week's parsha is Parshas Pinchos, in which we read about Pinchos, who took up for Hashem's honor. He was zealous, and he made sure to strike down Zimri, who was the leader of the tribe of Shimon, who was sinning with an Amorite woman, Cosby, and he killed him. Took up Hashem's vengeance. And we also read about in this week's Haftarah about Eliyahu Navi, Elijah the prophet, who also tried to stick up for Hashem's righteousness, for Hashem's honor, and he kept complaining, Hashem, look at these people, they're constantly serving idols over here. And Hashem, though, got angry at Eliyahu Navi, Elijah the prophet, the famous prophet Elijah the prophet. And Hashem used to scold him. He goes, why are you getting so angry at them because they did idol worship? Did they do it against you? They did it against me. Let me worry about myself. As a matter of fact, Hashem actually brought him up to Mount Sinai. And on Mount Sinai, he had different visions. One of them was thunder. The other one was lightning. Another one was fire. But Hashem wasn't in any of them. But when it became really quiet, that's where Hashem was. And Hashem was teaching him the lesson that sometimes if you want to speak to people, the best way to get through to them is in a calm, quiet manner. Divrei chachamim v'nachas nishmayim, which means the words of the wise are listened to when they're soft-spoken. And Hashem says you got to go a little softer on the people. Now, the real question is, what's the difference between Pinchas and Eliyahu? Even though the Medrash tells us Eliyahu is just a reincarnation of Pinchas. But why was it when Pinchas came and he killed this one person, Hashem said, beautiful, I'm going to give this guy the treaty of peace. Him and his whole family after him, the rest of him. But when Eliyahu Navi and Elijah tried to complain to Hashem about the same sin that the people were doing, Hashem got upset. So it could be explained as follows. When he actually executed judgment, when Pinchas executed judgment, the Torah uses the word vayifalo, means come from the word plilim, which to execute judgment. And he executed judgment and he killed Zimri. However, the word vayifalo also means that he also made a different type of judgment. Hashem wanted to punish other people who were with him, the other 24,000 people of his tribe, of the tribe of Shimon. And Pinchas said, Hashem, one person should sin and you could try to wipe out everybody else. And therefore he tried to stop the plague, and the plague eventually stopped because of his judgment. And Hashem listened to him. Hashem kind of took Hashem to court, as it were, and he told Hashem, you cannot kill the rest of the people. And eventually the plague stopped. Also, the word vayipalo comes from the word prayer, tefillah, vayipalo, to pray, and therefore he prayed that they shouldn't die. Whereas Eliyahu Navi, however, he just ripped into the people. He said, those people that are worshiping the Baal, they should get what they deserve. And Hashem, you should get rid of them. They're going away from your Torah. Rip away at them, destroy them, wipe them out. They're going away. I can't bear it anymore. And that's when Hashem responded. Hey, they did it against me, not against you. So what should Eliyahu Navi have done? What should he have done? He should have spoken softer to the people and tried to rebuke them in a way that shows that he loved them. And as a matter of fact, the name Eliyahu is a contraction of two of Hashem's name, the Aleph and the Lamed, which denotes Hashem's strictness, his judgment, and also the Yud, the Hey, and then the Vav, which denotes Hashem's mercy. And he was supposed to put the two together, and he didn't. And as a matter of fact, we should just know, like, the difference between Eliyahu is, and I'm kind of rambling over here and going a little longer than I would like to, but it's very important. What he should have done was taken both of them and put the two together, the mercy and the strict judgment. But he didn't. You know why? We can simply explain. Pinchas was able to because there was only one person that sinned. But over here, by Elijah the prophet, only 7,000 of the Jews did not sin. Everybody else was worshiping idols, and he was pulling his hair out. Like, how much of this can I take already? I'm talking to people that are not changing their ways. So we have to know Eliyahu is a good person. And it was just such an extreme scenario of people that were worshiping idols that he's like, Hashem, hot under the collar over here. What's going on over here? But nevertheless, Hashem still expected him to change his ways. And actually, he did change his ways. And in the future, he'll be the sign for us before Mashiach comes. And in the future, he went around telling Hashem, look at those people. Look how much you're suffering. They're still studying Torah. Look at that elderly, weak gentleman. He's still trying his hardest to go to the synagogue. Look how sick that person is. He's still spending his time to learn Torah. And many, many things that we should have, many different decrees that should have been decreed against us were annulled because of his prayer. So he became that person. And Hashem also promised him, you don't think the Jews do mitzvahs? From now on, you're going to have to go to every single bris milah, every single circumcision, and you yourself will testify that they do keep the mitzvahs. And in the future, he will actually be the one that will come before Mashiach comes, and we have to know that we have to do the same thing. Now, this is something for me, I suffer a lot, because I'm also like a real go-getter, but at the same time, we have to realize, you got to look at the best of people. You got to figure out why it is that people are doing things and where they're coming from and how they were brought up. And that's the way to reach out to people. But you got to have balance. Eliyahu, we got to have both things in the name. Vayipal, you got to do both of them. You can't, too much tolerance is no good. Too much intolerance is no good. You got to be someone right in the middle. If you really love people, you'll find both sides. You won't just be a hardened person and go against them. You got to speak softly. You got to think the right things. You got to judge people and say, well, would I be any different if I was in their shoes? So therefore, our default setting should be, I got to fight for Hashem, but at the same time, I got to love the people as well. Have a wonderful Shabbos. Thank you so much for listening. As always, enjoy.